Yep.
I will call to order the emergency meeting of the Chautauqua County Legislature on November 5th, 2025. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Anthony is absent. Mr. Winkowski.
Here.
Mr. Buchanan is absent. Mr. Carl.
Here.
Mrs. Dickey.
Here.
Mrs. Gustafson.
Here.
Mr. Harmon is absent. Mr. Heiser.
Here.
Mr. Johnson is absent. Mr. Landy.
Here.
Mr. Larson.
Here.
Mr. Nelson.
Here.
Mr. Nebel.
Here.
Mr. Pavlak.
Here.
Mr. Penhallow.
Here.
Mr. Proctor.
Here.
Mr. Scudder.
Here.
Ms. Vanstrom.
Here.
Chairman Shagnon.
Here.
Okay, there are 15 members present and 4 members absent. There is quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we will have the prayer and pledge of allegiance by Legislator Dickey.
God, we stand today to do your work and to hear from heaven as we attempt to lead Chautauqua County. God, we thank you for all you have done, all you have not done, and those things you're going to do to guide our hands in the direction you want us to go. Continue to lead and guide us, and we thank you and we praise you. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That brings us to our first privilege of the floor. Members of the public may comment on any subject relating to any local law, resolution, or motion appearing on the agenda. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. Comments representing a group shall be limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone wishing to address the first privilege of the floor? Please step to the microphone and introduce yourself.
I am Connie Griffith, and Mr. Chairman, I am speaking on behalf of the food pantries in northern Chautauqua County.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the area food pantries, and all of you have this on your tables. I am a volunteer and co-manage a certified food pantry in Fredonia called Fred Basket. We serve residents living in the Fredonia School District. This includes residents in Fredonia, Town of Pomfret, Sheridan, Arkwright, and Brockton. In addition, we collaborate with other area food pantries in South Dayton, Cassadaga, Sinclairville, Dunkirk, Jamestown. And we share donated food, and we share the pickup and delivery by our volunteers. I'm requesting that 2 initiatives be approved by this legislature. One, to address the immediate needs for food subsidies, and the second, to establish a proactive process to maintain a better budget control of county monies that are spent. First, I urge you to release some unallocated funds to local food pantries on a weekly basis until the federal SNAP benefits are restored. This will ease the immediate surge of additional demands on the food pantries by allowing us to purchase food product as needed. While this does allow the pantries to serve many of your constituents, there is no accountability process set up to determine who has provided the service to whom, and thus no accountability for the funds being paid. This leads to my second initiative, a request for an ongoing proactive process. And I like tagging on to a system already in place that works. And that is to enter into a contract with Feed More Western New York, like Erie County has in place. Under their contract, the Department of Social Services provides a voucher to new SNAP recipients when there's a delay in receiving their benefits or if a client has a lost or stolen card. The client presents the voucher at a food pantry, and then it is sent to Feed More. Erie County pays a set fee per client to Feed More, and then the payment is credited to the pantry to replenish what we give out. Feed More Western New York is the regional food pantry organizing agency. They provide nutrition information, volunteer training on food safety and civil rights, and inspect us to certify that we are maintaining safe operations and keeping records as required for federal assistance. Feed More is also the agency who secures and manages various local, regional, and federal grants for food. They purchase at wholesale, and they warehouse and deliver to the food pantries. They also operate mobile pantries in Sinclairville, Ripley, Forestville, Brockton, Asheville, Sherman, and Clymer. I urge you to direct the Legal and Social Services Departments of Chautauqua County to work to develop a contract like Erie County's. This will provide for fiscal accountability and program flexibility for food subsidy programs. The advantage of having this system in place is not only to solve the ongoing hiccups in the day-to-day operation, but in times like this, we can assure that the county monies are being spent responsibly and that there is accountability for those funds. If it's the will of this body to pursue these proposals, I will continue to make myself available to county staff. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to address the first privilege of the floor?
I'm Marie Tomlinson. I live in Fredonia, 146 Newton Street. I'm asking that this group have compassion for the people in our county. Jobs are scarce, money's really tight, and people are going to go hungry unless we take some action. So I'm encouraging you as our legislators to do something.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Marcia Weston Johnson. I live in Fredonia, New York. Good evening. I'm here tonight because too many of our neighbors, working families, seniors, and children, are struggling to put food on the table. And while Congress argues about priorities, people right here in our county are growing hungry. That is unacceptable. Let's be clear. The recent failure by lawmakers to extend or properly fund food assistance programs like SNAP is not just policy choices, they are moral ones. Cutting or delaying these benefits doesn't just hurt the poor in some abstract sense. It hurts the family down the road who just lost a job. It hurts the single mother who works full-time and still can't afford groceries. It hurts the local grocery store that loses business when families can't buy food. SNAP dollars are not wasted money. They're among the most effective forms of economic stimulus we have. Every dollar in SNAP benefits generates up to $1.50 in local economic activity. This means money spent at local stores, more jobs supported in food distribution, and stronger small businesses across the county. When we invest in food assistance, we're not just feeding families, we're feeding the economy. Now, I know some of you will say we can't afford it, but that's not true. This county has reserve funds that we've built up for emergency, and hunger is an emergency. If we can find money for pilot tax breaks and CCIDA assistance, we can find money to make sure no child in this county goes to bed hungry. This is not a partisan issue, or it should not be. It's a human issue. It's a leadership issue. It's about whether we will turn our backs on people in need or whether we'll live up to our responsibility to serve everyone in our community, not just those who already have enough. So I'm calling on this legislature to step up, use the reserve fund to create or expand local food assistance programs until federal support is restored. Partner with local job banks, and I absolutely endorse the Feed More Western New York program. With food banks and schools to show our residents that government can still work for them, not just those who already have enough. I'm calling on you to step up, use reserve funds to create or expand local food assistance. Sorry, I got lost. Because in the end, budgets are moral documents. They show what and who we value. Let's make sure that in this county, we value every single person. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the first privilege of the floor? Anyone else for the first privilege?
Sandra Lewis, Fredonia. I just have one comment. I'm not against people going to the food pantry. The only thing is, I know how I value my meals with my family, and there's certain things that I care to eat and certain things that speak to me more than others. It's not just the food. It's the goodness of the food. It's the sort of culture, sort of things that you are used to eating. So in addition to maybe going to the food pantry, a $50 gift voucher to one of the food stores may be a good option for others as well. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the first privilege of the floor? Anyone else? Legislator Newbill.
Mr. Chairman, this is a question. Are we allowed to ask questions of the people that have just spoken during the privilege of the floor?
That's not appropriate, no.
Okay.
Thank you. So is there anyone else for the first privilege of the floor? Seeing no one, I will close the first privilege of the floor. And that brings us to the agenda for tonight, which is an update on the status of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program and the Heating Assistance Program benefits, status of state funds and local food programs for emergency food assistance. We are honored to have the county executive and some of his key staff here tonight to address us and to help us understand the situation that we find ourselves in. So I would invite the county executive and his staff to come down front, and they will make their presentation. I will ask that you hold your questions until the presentation is concluded, and then I will make them available to answer your questions as you're recognized by the chair. If someone has a burning question that just can't wait until the presentation is concluded, please raise your hand and get my attention. With that, County Executive, please take us.
Thank you. So first of all, just to get everybody up to speed, so it was last Wednesday, I believe, correct, the meeting?
Yes.
Yeah. So NISAC, New York State Association of Counties, had a county-wide briefing on the current situation. Met with Governor Hochul's staff from Albany and from Washington, also met with federal officials as to the current status. One of the things we're going to talk about, probably some of the things are not what you're going to want to hear. Quote from the state, "This is ours, we own this." What is happening right now, the state cannot fund the benefits of SNAP. The counties cannot fund the lost benefits of SNAP. The amount of money is far too expensive for the county or even the state to cover these missing costs right now. So they are working with the federal government. We have been in contact with OTDA, Office of Temporary Disability Assistance, who has been following this all along. Basically, from the state, direct your residents to the resources that are available currently, and we will get through this situation. We need to be poised and ready. Our teams have been looking at this. I'll be turning this over to Carmelo Hernandez and his staff from Social Services, also speaking with this from a legal standpoint as to what the county can and cannot fund. So there are legal ramifications from this. There are other situations that arise. One of the things that came out is we need to, and this is the governor's staff, strictly from their mouths to the microphone, we need to stop the misinformation, the gaslighting, and fear-mongering. People still have benefits coming to them. This isn't a halt of all benefits for people. We understand there are situations. Our teams are ready. They're in a position to address this as the need arises, and that's what I will let them focus on. Other counties across the state have done a multitude of things. Some have pledged to work with, Albany County has pledged to work with their United Way in a matching fund system. Buffalo, New York, Erie County pledged $1 million for the Feed Northwestern New York. And the Ulster County executive has instructed her community foundation to fund the food pantries. I came out initially and said we need to assist those who have the means to assist our local food pantries. I've seen posts on social media that has been addressed. Some people have been very thankful that we are seeing an influx in our food pantries. So that's really where we're at right now. So at the present time, we have just been informed, and I'm going to cease any of the other information right now. Carmelo Hernandez and his team are the ones directly involved with the day-to-day of this. They have been from the very get-go. A lot of what we are doing is the same positions we've taken during COVID. We're ready, we're poised, we're analyzing and assessing the situation as is needed, and it changes day to day. But to reassure, there are still benefits going to our families. There are still those who are getting those benefits. So we don't want it to be known that people are being shut off from their benefits. But I'll turn this over to Carmelo and his staff and explain more of what's happened. This has been fluid. You know, the New York State Association of Counties, all of us have said, be at the ready. Wait and see and act as, and again, our team has a plan. We will direct that plan as is necessary, but right now, basically hold tight, because now this was last Wednesday, so if the government would have opened by Friday, things would have been in a completely different scenario. We've been told now, and I'll turn this over to Carmelo as to what is going to go happen from here. So thank you, and we'll be able to address your questions.
Carmelo Hernandez, Commissioner, Mental Hygiene and Social Services. So everything the county exec said is 100% accurate, and I could tell you what's the conversations been at the state level with the commissioners from across the state and also the commissioner for OTDA. People will get benefits this month. There will be a mass communication that will come out. Now, how that benefit is going to be determined is due to the federal requirements and also federal regulations that they are given to the state. So the state is going to go in manually into the system and adjust the benefits that will come out, and they're going to adjust it, and once that's done, they're going to send out a mass communication to everyone who does receive SNAP benefits, and they're going to be told what the amount is and what's going to happen, so on and so forth. What I encourage everyone to do is come into one of our local offices if you do have an emergency, because what we can do is we can fund that emergency elsewhere with other resources that we have. One of the issues that we have is that we believe that we don't have any resources, and there's current resources that we have with OFA, with mental hygiene, with certain funding there, and we need to get creative, real creative. My biggest concern is that we put a big pot of money out right now, and this goes way longer than 2 days. And then I'll really be concerned if we're in December and now we got to figure out, because we can't get that money back. And this is across the state. I'll be honest with you, what's happening in New York City, what's happening in Westchester County and in Suffolk County, we're not seeing that right now here. I was Monday at the offices at Dunkirk. I only saw one person. In Jamestown, we only had 3 people. Are we receiving phone calls? Absolutely. Are people calling and asking questions? Absolutely. Do we believe people will ask more questions once the state sends out the information, the mass communication that they're going to send? Absolutely, because it's going to confuse a lot of people. It's going to confuse. I don't know what the formula is yet. They haven't shared that yet. Right now, we're meeting every day for approximately 2 hours, but now it's more steady in the sense of every day at noon, all the commissioners meet along with the state and they give us more information. And that's just SNAP. I'm pretty sure you guys have questions of HEAP. HEAP, the plan was submitted to the feds. That program is 100% federally funded, and as of right now, it got pushed back from November 17th to November 24th. We'll find out more. Every day we find out something new once we have that meeting. I'm open for questions.
No, wait till the end. You're open, I know, but
I tried that, Carmel, it doesn't work.
I think they,
Keep in the same.
Diane?
She said baby with questions. I'm going to step up.
Oh, my eyeball.
Dana Corwin, Director of the Chautauqua County Office for Aging Services. Good to see everybody here this evening. As the county executive has said, and Carmelo, we've been working together as a team for the last 7-8 days, formulating and talking about the potentials, what the possibilities are. From the older adult perspective, we are also receiving some calls more about information. What's there? What do we do? What do we need to know? We're not seeing calls that are directly saying that they're out of food, but we've been planning with the other agencies to address that issue if it becomes a reality. So we have programs and contracts already in place through our home delivered meal program, as well as our congregate meal program, which includes restaurant dining. We've formulated a plan that if we need to distribute meals, we've got community partners and we can cover the entire county. We've already ordered some product that can be also used as we go along. Many of you remember me talking about the blizzard boxes or the emergency bags. So we've pre-ordered that because we're going to need them anyways, so if we have them on hand, we're ready. So we're ready with information and support for our older adults and our caregivers about what they can do if they run into food insecurity. But right now, we have this plan and we have a good communication along the group up here. But that's where we are. So we're just kind of tapping down the anxiety that we're sensing in the community about the change of information that keeps coming rapidly. So we're hopeful on that. That SNAP HEAP is something that also affects older adults. Oh, and I'll back up for a minute and say we were able to get some information about the number of adults that might be affected by SNAP, 4,367 over the age of 60. So if you remember back on some of the times we've had conversations, about 39,000 older adults in the community. So to give you a reference range. And I know that there's times when people think of older adults getting a smaller amount of SNAP. I would say that's probably just as important, giving a fixed income, same realities of budgeting and spending needs for the older adults. So we'll champion that. And I guess I go to the end of the line.
thank you, Dana. Next.
Hello, good evening. I'm Anna Morgan. I'm the county attorney. I will just kind of walk you through our thinking of the work group in the last 7 days or so, and I will try to maybe cover some things that Carmela did not touch upon because there's a lot going on and they're very detailed. We are looking at a situation where we have been, in a situation where federal funds have been suspended, not state, not local. Can we grab those funds somehow by ourselves and go and spend them the way we think should be spent? No. Can the state intervene? Yes, they have to a certain degree. Other counties, as PJ said, took different approaches. Some decided to put money aside, monitor the situation, see what's going on. Others decided to take money available to them, buy the food themselves, donate the food where they thought it would be most useful. Third option is to give a monetary donation to one of the food pantries, support them that way. What we can do in the county is something that from a legal perspective, we wanted to focus on the services and skills we already have implemented. So for example, Ms. Anderson runs the temporary assistance division with our Department of Social Services. We were not sure last week when we met coming Monday, are we going to have a line of 500 people, 50 people coming into DSS and saying, listen, we need help because we are hungry. We don't have food on the table and we really need assistance. The assistance we're talking about through that avenue is cash assistance. People come in, they fill out an application and we help them on a one-time basis. As Mr. Hernandez said, there were a total of 4 people who approached the offices. What we see from that is right now that there is not a huge need to intervene immediately with any sort of, food donations, because from what we see right now from the numbers is that the county is covered. How long that's going to last, we don't know, obviously. We have, however, put mechanisms in place and through our staff to be ready, because we didn't know if we're going to have 500 people coming Monday. We were ready for overtime. We were ready to ask county employees to volunteer if needed. We were ready to pull different resources to organize transportation of either people to food or food to people. We are reaching out to our communities. They're different from aging communities, from people who need this sort of assistance or that sort of assistance, and kind of trying to adjust, I think, with all the resources that we do have. My department, I think 4 different attorneys were working on this as well. It's very abstract right now, and this is the problem I think I have from a legal perspective. I would love to hear maybe, not particularly specific, but maybe some practical things that the legislature wants to do so that we can, jump in and start researching, can we do this? How do we get there? Like, what's the goal? Is it, donating money? Is it donating food? Is it monitoring the situation for now? I know that the county has also established certain food points where food is being dropped off in our localities, Dunkirk, for example, where people can come in and grab it. So we're trying to fill the gaps between the food pantries and between our residents. But what we're seeing right now is that the system works, and the system is covering the needs it should be covering. John, did I forget anything?
No. I would add, just to build off what Anna is saying here, I believe Carmelo spoke to this a little bit too.
Please introduce yourself.
John Anderson, Deputy Commissioner, Social Services. Thanks for having me here. So, we can help with emergencies too through DSS, and as Anna said, we're very prepared for it. We have kind of pulled back from that enhanced staffing level we had earlier this week, but right now, we're ready to go back any time. If people are in need, they should come see us. If they have an open case, they should come see us. If it's something new, they should come see us and explore whether we can help immediately. And that would be both with food and heating emergencies, so we'd encourage that to happen. We have had some communications behind the scenes with United Way and some of the private agencies that are food distribution sites, and how we can work together with them in coordination. So we're looking forward to hearing more of that, but that's very early stage as well. So any questions that you have coming up about some of the specifics with some of the things I've touched on, or Anna or Carmelo, we're happy to answer those questions as well.
Thank you.
We also spoke with the principals and the schools as well, so we're ready to go if it needs to go that route, so they were on board as well.
Anything further? Nope. Okay, now I will open the floor for questions, and I see Mr. Nebo, Legislator Nebel's hand go up first.
Only because I tried to ask questions before, Mr. Chairman.
I knew you would.
Well, folks, I just want to get some statistics down here. And I guess this is for Carmelo or John. How many people do we actually have on SNAP? Is it around 23,000? That's a figure that I've heard before.
So we have around 22,325 individuals.
Okay.
That's under 12,743 cases. And that varies.
Cases, you mean households?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and that number does vary. Diane can speak to that on a variance, but it varies day to day, week to week, so
Okay.
that's present.
Okay, thank you. And Carmelo or John, again, as far as the food pantries, we have about 46 food pantries. Is that it in Chautauqua County or close to that number?
We do have a list, it's a food resource guide, and it's about 3 pages. Dana, do you know exactly how many are on that guide?
I don't know exactly how many, but we are in the process of keeping in touch with them regularly. I can count them up.
Is 45, 46 outlined, or is it?
High, I would say
Okay.
maybe 30-ish.
Okay.
Looking out over it, let me see if they have a count there. But
Okay, 30, 40. And as far as the food pantries, are they low on supplies at this point?
Through social services in the morning, our team here, Diane's team, meets with typical referral sort avenues that we have for families, individuals, and at this point, I think they're seeing a need. And there's a need always for food.
There's a need, John, but is there a severe shortage at this point?
I've heard that specifically when we've had the conversation, so no, I cannot say that we've heard that.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, one last question.
Okay.
Office for Aging, okay, of your 4,300 people over 60 that are on SNAP, if you have calls, are you directing them to the nutrition sites if they have food challenges?
Yeah, we've been working as a team.
Okay.
We just got that number recently about how to message them once we understand what's happening at the state and federal level. So a message, they have an internal messaging system that we may be able to work collaboratively on to make sure that they understand to contact us, because under the Office for Aging Services, we have some funds that could be immediately started, whether they be, if there's transportation problems, we can start them on home delivered meals. We can point them to food pantries and community kitchens, and also our congregate dining sites.
Okay, so you do have some excess funds that could be used for this,
We have
if necessary?
unmet needs funds from New York State that, we had targeted anyways for addressing the heat issue and seeing how that's unfolded, the SNAP issue.
Okay.
is an appropriate.
Dana, thank you.
As Dana was saying, we will want to work together with OFA to get messages out through our system.
Okay.
To the right population that's receiving the benefits now.
So you guys are kind of coordinating between the social services and OFA?
Yes, and what I'm going to do at my level is tomorrow, when I meet with the commissioners in the state, tell them it may be a good idea to collaborate with the commissioner for OFA, so when the message comes out, it comes out simultaneously together.
I think that would be a good idea. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Legislator Gustafson.
I know in the past that all of the schools in Chautauqua County were receiving free breakfast and lunch. Is that still the case for the children in our county?
Yes, to my knowledge, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Legislator Nelson.
People are still getting their benefits, correct?
No, so as soon as, end of day, October 31st, they turned it off. So then,
But I heard they were getting them.
They went to the feds. So this is what happened. They went to court. They filed the lawsuit. And when the lawsuit was filed, then the feds made the decision, okay, USDA, we have X amount of funds, so how can we distribute these funds? Then they created a formula that I yet don't have my hands on to provide the 50%. And then the state has to go in and do their magic with the vendor, so this way the funds could be dispersed.
Just to clarify, because you did say that they're receiving benefits, local benefits, our benefits that we're distributing are not disturbed. From WIC to public assistance to...
I'm talking about like the EBT card
Yes.
that they get.
It's suspended.
That's suspended.
Correct. It's not discontinued, it's suspended.
Suspended for this month. What would it cost for the county to fund that for a month?
Good luck.
I'm just asking. We can't. For Chautauqua County?
What's that?
For Chautauqua County, what would it cost?
We can't put funds into it.
Fund.
We can't put funds into it. It's not our program, nor in the state.
I know it's a federal program.
And currently, well, you have to understand that, because you can't say, is the county willing to use county funds? We are. Can the county legally? No, we cannot. The state, I think the number for the state, nearly 900 million a week.
Right.
A week. It's a large amount. So the governor herself has not addressed any funding issues for SNAP as well. This is the federal program that we have to rely on. We can offset it by what we're currently doing right now, and that's assisting the food pantries.
What's your opinion of Connie Griffith's program that she addressed at the beginning of the meeting? The one on our desk. Yeah.
We don't have it. We heard the presentation, but we don't have
Okay.
the paper yet.
Should we consider it? I understand it's what they're doing in Erie County.
I would say this, I would say we need to be mindful, and I'll use my military jargon here, we need to assess the battlefield, and the battlefield right now, we don't have a battlefield assessment in terms of the need. And I'll say yes, we don't want no kids to go hungry, we don't want no family to go hungry. When it's given to the food pantries, I could tell you this, anyone in need that qualifies is going to be able to get it. Would I be able to guarantee you that those 4,000 SNAP recipients are going to get it? I can't guarantee that.
In her program, it mentioned that there'd be accountability, and maybe she could even address this in more detail.
That's right.
And I agree there should be accountability and just asking questions. So, okay, I have nothing right now, nothing else.
Well, and to answer your question in terms of the price, it depends on the household. So it varies between household in terms of what's the minimum and then what's the maximum that'll be distributed.
Right. But could we figure out what it costs for those 22,000 people in Chautauqua County for 1 month?
I'll try to get that to you by Friday, because I did ask finance yesterday at like 9 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm. I mean, doesn't seem like a crazy question to ask. Just what does it cost per month to run SNAP in Chautauqua County? I know it's a federal program, it's not ours, but.
Right, but it cannot be quoted to run a SNAP program in Chautauqua County. That's where legal steps in and says, no, we can't do that. Yes, there can be allocation.
Erie County can do it?
No, Erie County's not funding it.
They're not doing that.
They're not funding SNAP. What he's doing is he's funding an assistance program. The truth be told, $1 million that was declared still has to go through the Erie County Legislature, just like you all did. A lot of statements have been made, what people want to do, it still has to get passed through their body, their legislative bodies.
And it does not go into their EBT cards, just so you know. We can't do that. We cannot step in.
That has to go through the vendor. I could tell you this, that USDA was at 6.8 billion, so they were short. So that's why when the government shut down, that's why they couldn't run 100% for the month of November, and they needed approximately 8.8 billion to run it for the U.S.
Okay.
Legislator Nelson, if I can make a suggestion. The presentation that was made by Ms. Griffith is quite complicated, to use a term. If you would like to request the staff to evaluate that and discuss it with Ms. Griffith and bring a recommendation back to the legislature, I think that would be appropriate.
I would like to make that request.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Okay. I don't know that we need to have a formal motion, Legislator Carl. I think that the staff would welcome the opportunity to address that for you.
Well, I think we're all on the same page. We don't want people to go hungry. Right. We're talking about children, we're talking about veterans, we're talking about disabled people.
Sure.
Right? That's why we're here. Right. So, and the best way we can do it is what we should do.
Right. Thank you. Next question, Legislator Larson.
I guess I'm learning this evening that the heating assistance program is also frozen at this time. Is that true?
Absolutely. We've known this. This has been, when the government was open, when Feds was open, every state has to submit a plan. New York State submitted their plan, and then what happened in the Feds happened in the Feds, and that's 100% federally funded, so yes.
The failure of the Congress and the President to keep the federal government open has created a real challenge for Chautauqua County, a real problem. There's no question about that. The origin of the problem should not be overlooked. No county legislature in New York State or any other state should be meeting this evening, this week, talking about how we avoid people being hungry. The Buffalo News on Tuesday, October 28th, reported some very distressing news about how economically poor Chautauqua County is. We've heard repeatedly in the national news, 1 out of 8 Americans gets food stamps. Call me old-fashioned, SNAP is the current name, but it's food stamps. And just as the public doesn't really understand unappropriated fund balance, they do understand slush fund. So I will refer to food stamps. Nationwide, 1 out of 8. According to the Buffalo News, as of July of this year, Chautauqua County had 23,300 recipients of food stamps. That's 1 out of 5. Cattaraugus County had 10,500, 1 out of 7. Erie County had 140,000, again, roughly 1 out of 7. This is the kind of information that this body and the public tends not to get about the real condition of the economy, the economic situation, the poverty of the people in this county. That is really depressing. 1 out of 5 in Chautauqua County gets food stamps. We've got a lot of work to do. I've tried to make that point economic development-wise, job creation-wise. I've tried to make that point for 2 full years. For better or worse, for the rest of you, the people on the north side of Jamestown have given me the okay to continue this fight for at least 1 more year. 1 out of 5 versus 1 out of 8 on average across America, and 1 out of 7 by our 2 neighbors. We've got to stop pretending that everything is coming up roses in this county and get to work to do a better job than we have done for the last virtually 20 years. I'm not going to be the former county attorney too much tonight, but in my opinion, the county has the ability to enter into a contract for services with any of the food pantries that we deem to be dependable, long established, have a board of directors, have some legal standing. It doesn't mean every single food pantry in a closet in every church in the county is going to have a contract with the county. But recognize dependable, we can have $100,000, we can have $200,000, we could allocate, doesn't mean it would all be spent. The law department then could solicit proposals from food pantries, and on a week-by-week basis, month-by-month basis, as long as this disaster in Washington goes on, we can use county local funds under contract, just like we contract with the YWCAs and the Salvation Armies and all kinds of excellent not-for-profit organizations to do good things. I am, for purposes of the press reporting to the public, I think I share a bit of Legislator Nelson's confusion. 23,000, as of July, 23,000 Chautauqua County folks did not get any food stamp money on November 1.
November 1,
They got zero. To say that, well, we're on top of this, that there are other benefits. Well, yeah, I mean, the rental assistance, Medicaid, some cash assistance, but I don't think it's a good idea to portray that for these 23,000 people, there's really no problem. There's no way that for those 23,000 people, we have a system in place to give them the equivalent of a month's worth of food stamps that they've lost. Is that a fair statement?
It depends what they qualify for, and I'll say this. So, yes, there's 23,000, but these are not 23,000 individuals that don't have no income. So majority of our folks that do receive SNAP, that do receive food stamps, do have a source of income. That's one piece. The other piece is we have a luxury here in Chautauqua County, and I can tell you this because I come from New York City. The luxury that we have here in Chautauqua County, if any of your neighbors came into any one of our office, we could triage and get them the help that they need right then and there. I can't guarantee that in New York City. Cannot guarantee that at all. So I'll say this, my staff may not like it, but this is the time where you utilize your local Department of Social Services. This is the time where if there's a need, emergency cash, we're still processing applications, we haven't stopped. So if anybody you know that has a need, they're more than willing to come. Like we said, we have staff ready to go pull overtime. We have staff that are willing to come in early. We were ready for the 23,000 to show up on Monday, and that I can say.
Increasingly, I've lost my alleged ability to make myself clear. No one, I hope, is suggesting that if this part of the government shutdown goes on for months, that it's not a big problem for the 20-some thousand people that have been receiving food stamps.
Absolutely.
Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
Well, I got some of my persuasion ability back then for a moment anyway. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Carl.
A couple different questions, a couple different people. Carmelo, you said they were going to possibly get full benefits for the month of November after the state got involved, or is that a 50%?
It's 50% according to the formula that the federal government gives the state. The only way that they will get 100% of the benefit for the month of November is if the government opened between today and the end of November.
And can I ask you how people will find out about that?
That's going to come from actually the state. The state is going to put together mass communication where they're going to do phone calls, emails, and text messages to the phones on records, and they're going to send it out. That's going to come out. They've been working on it. They are going through legal to make sure that they have the verbiage correctly. So I would say, because of the holiday next week, they got to get it done no later than Friday or Monday to get that out.
And you just said that it'll be the normal means of communication that those people have?
Yes.
In the system?
Yes.
Okay. John, I had a question for you about the call-ins and the appointments. You know, kind of explain that process. So, you know, a lot of times you call a government building and you're not going to get right into anybody.
Right. Well, they can walk right in. In Dunkirk and Jamestown, you can walk in, can call, we can work with you. We have people that are actually, we've set up a system where if somebody can't get in to do an application, we'll try to get somebody out to help them to their home.
Okay, let me follow up with another question with that. Because there's going to be immobile or housebound recipients.
Yeah.
And how are we going to make sure that they're getting their needs met?
If there are food needs, if we hear about these food needs, what we've already set up internally is a process to communicate with each other. We have different programs, like our adult services program has access to vans. OFA, we can work with OFA. They have meal programs that we can work through. So as those situations come up, we problem solve and try to get that need addressed as quickly as we possibly can.
Great. Do we know the average cost of a recipient per person?
Per case?
Yeah.
I don't know the current case cost. Do you, Diane? We can get that for you.
Well, just curious. I mean, because ballpark, if it was $200 a month and there's 23,000 people, it'd be 4.6 million, and that's why we can't address it?
It's much higher.
It's higher than 200?
Yes.
Okay.
It's based on household size, so.
Right. But a household, we have 12,000 households and 23,000 individuals. Is that how I'm understanding it?
the numbers? Are you asking specifically about SNAP, or are you asking in general about a case?
Well, I'm just asking about SNAP, because we're all trying to toy with the idea, can we give 50,000 to the food bank system, or do we need $1 million a month, or, what is like the ballpark figure that we're all trying to get a grip on?
We haven't looked at the average cost for families, so.
What is the lowest band?
The lowest is $198 per month. Sorry, I'm short. The lowest amount is $198 per month.
Is
That's
that
for
per
a single
individual
person.
or a case?
That's for one person, a one-person case.
Okay, so if we have 23,000 individuals, chances are the ballpark is about $200.
Yeah.
And I'm no math expert, but that looks like 4.6 million a month just for our county to carry it, ballparking. So yeah, we can't really handle that as a legislature, but maybe there's something we can agree on if we had a committee working on this, or some kind of initiative to be able to join into the Feed More group, or something where it was monitored and it's responsible, people are accountable. I guess the only other question, thank you, I appreciate that, all those answers. The only thing I guess, Mr. Chairman, is that quite possibly could we have an updated report out at our monthly meeting, or somehow, keep a finger on the pulse of this going forward till we're out of the shutdown federally?
I think that's a very reasonable request. Yes?
It just seems like, there's an awful lot of information here we've gotten tonight, and we all need to kind of think about that. And, we've got committee meetings next week, and then the following week, we're meeting as a group.
Yes.
So at the very least, we'll meet 2 weeks from now and talk about it again?
Well, I would expect that, at least at the Human Services Committee, we would expect an update from Human Services, Social Services, and Mental Hygiene. And then at the legislature meeting, if things are still in flux and developing, we could expect an update at the legislature meeting as well.
Okay. And I guess lastly, are you going to follow up and see that we have someone who looks into the proposition that, like Erie County is doing with Feed More? Is that actually going to take place, or is there something else we have to do to set that in motion?
I got several heads here that nodded when I suggested that they would investigate this and more fully and report back to us.
Okay. And the person who knows the most is in the room. Connie Griffith is in the back here, and she presented, prior to the meeting, and she's the one who made the document before us, so she actually knows more about it than I would in trying to convey that. So thank you very much for all those answers.
Thank you. Legislator Penhall.
Yeah, thank you. These are all wonderful services we have. We know that there's need. I don't think anybody here is against any of these options.
Microphone, please.
I just have a request that, is there a flow diagram, a program? What are the requirements to enter each of these programs, if they could be listed? Is it SNAP, EBT, HEAP? What are those requirements? So it's a veteran, it's a single mother, it's a family of 5. Just to identify, these are the number, this is what the qualifications needed to get those assistance. And if we could have that in front of us, because I hear all these acronyms, I haven't heard WIC, I don't know if that still even exists, EBT, SNAP, HEAP, all those programs, and if they can be broke down so we have a better understanding of how those programs work, what does the county do right now, and how are they funded? Just a play sheet, a playbook in front of each of us, so I can understand it better.
We can share that information. What Diane, we put this together before the meeting today. We will share that with Anna, and she can dispatch it back here, if that works for you.
Yeah, the programs, and it's already been mentioned that the county programs, whether funded by the state or federal government, can overlap with the 19 or 20 different school districts that offer meals right now. And I know there's collaborative effort, and if we know how those all interact and cross over and offer services, it's just data and information in front of us so we can better understand it, at least on my behalf. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Legislator Larson, just excuse me one moment. We will have a second privilege of the floor after the legislature has finished their questions. So if you could hold that until that point, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Legislator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, as independently elected legislators from our communities sent here to do county business, we have, for our 300 and some million, well, that's a bad way to start it. We have a lot of responsibility for things that the county is actually responsible for. And most of what we do, we pay some or all of the costs of doing those things. So we have to be knowledgeable to a certain extent about sewers and public water systems and roads and bridges and law enforcement and jails and meeting the mental health needs of the community, meeting the drug abuse, drug counseling needs of the community. It is just a shame that this evening we're having to try to become knowledgeable about food stamps and HEAP, which have always been 100% federal programs. We have no role in designing those programs. We don't set criteria for those programs. Our employees don't invent how to do these things. They have been food stamps since Lyndon Johnson, and I don't know when the heating assistance started, maybe under Jimmy Carter in a cold Buffalo snowstorm blizzard of 77, I don't know. It's a shame that we're trying to be educated tonight about something that we have no control over. We don't pay toward it with local money. But since we are being educated, that $198, whatever, minimum figure for food stamps, is that accurate? Does that mean for the 4,300 roughly senior citizens, those over 60, does that mean that for those 4,300, the minimum that they have been getting is $198 a month, and they're, no? Not for seniors.
It's based on income.
You want to use the microphone to help?
It's based on income.
So for the seniors, it could be $50 or something?
I can't think what the minimum is. A lot of them get $16, depending on their income. Sorry,
month?
I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah.
No.
And it's based on the income and the budgeting methodology that they do.
Like I say, I truly wish that we didn't have to become educated tonight about food stamps, because we have nothing to do with them since 1964, 65, whenever under Lyndon Johnson. But here we are with 1 out of 5 of our people on food stamps. And this month, 20% of our population has received 0 to go to Tops or Wegmans or wherever and buy food. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Anthony.
I guess a big question I have, and maybe we've clarified it and it just hasn't been clear enough, it's probably for legal for Anna. We've talked about funding SNAP benefits, but I guess what is our answer as to funding, or I guess helping fund HEAP benefits when it gets there? Obviously, we live in Western New York and it's going to start to get cold here, and we've discussed possibly donating to food pantries or whatnot, but I guess what's our answer financially there from a legal standpoint?
Yeah, especially because they're saying it's going to snow probably in a couple of days. Yeah, we know. So that's also another 100% funded federally program. And what we can do is, can you hear me now? Is it better? How about now? I can see you. Okay. This is the part where, again, we come down to our local services. I don't want to drag a different population into this, but we do have a homelessness problem as well, which we addressed with Code Blue shelters. We addressed it, we're thinking about opening them if we need to during the day as well. But it will probably come down through Diane Anderson when somebody who cannot afford to pay their utilities and cannot afford to have heat properly, they will come in and they will ask for cash assistance. And then we'll see, do they qualify for something else? Do we, enroll them in different programs? What age are they? Do we send them to Dana? How do we, that's unfortunately how the local government works. They have to assess every single case and then address every single case. So if you take anything from the meeting today, please, including the public, come to us. Come, request services. That's why we're here. This is where your taxes go to. And they are ready. So I hope that answers your question to a degree.
I was assuming in my head that it was going to come out of cash allowances.
Yes.
It's the only thing logically,
Yes.
to me, that makes sense, but...
And it's immediate, and it's, at the same time, I think, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, the issue with the cash assistance is we don't know how they spend it necessarily. Is that true?
No.
Or we do?
We're talking about emergencies for heating or utilities. That's a grant that we determined enough to meet the emergency. We send it directly to the company.
Okay.
So we do know where that's going.
Okay. Where are we, I guess, budgetary-wise on that unplanned? I know you said it's a state-funded thing, but as we know, accounts don't go forever, and how long can we plan for that before we have to look at going into our fund balance to...
What would happen in the emergency heating that Diana's talking about, everybody knows safety net, that's where it goes.
Okay.
Some of that would go. Yeah, that's exactly true. So depending on the family situation, the individual situation, it would be either safety net case or a family assistance case, which calls into question what the level of expense would be for the local government. Safety net being more costly locally.
Yep.
So that is the way that it's funded.
Lastly, while we're on budgetary, I assume at this point we don't know anything that has the potential to be refunded back from the feds and/or the state, I'm assuming.
As of right now, from my meeting this afternoon, the feds have not told the state if the state puts up any funds that they will be reimbursed. And OTVA, the commissioner, told the counties, told us that there's no guarantee that we would that the county would be reimbursed for any expenses that we incur.
Okay. So fortunately, we've been fiscally responsive and have a fund balance if it's not going to be refunded to us, and we can make up for that.
To that point, it's particularly the reason why there hasn't been any movement even at the state level. What the numbers the governor is talking about is already appropriated funds to the Feed More and 2 other food pantries, regional food pantries throughout the state. So there hasn't been an additional amount of money put to it. It's just the appropriation that was already is part of the budget. So again, the state hasn't moved anything because they're not sure if they would get reimbursed. So that's where unfortunately, we're in this little conundrum of waiting. And that's across the board.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chairman.
Legislator Buchanan.
First of all, my apologies for being late. I just let down by a tornado. So, just in case just in case I missed anything here. Has anyone had any idea of what services are provided at the moment to some of these families outside of what the county can offer? And the reason why I asked that question, because folks been reaching out to me, they were receiving groceries, free refrigerators. Do we have any idea who was doing that? But they've been doing that to several families out in the city of Dunkirk at the moment. I did hear someone said the Resource Center. I'm not sure of that.
There's a program that you must be I don't know.
Someone to the mic, please.
I don't want to say, we're not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it was even funded. Yeah.
Should we be looking into that?
Do you have
No, I'm just asking.
Do you have a contact for us where you've heard that?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going down. I mean, some young lady, she said the Resource Center, so I'll take a trip down there and talk to the Resource Center. I just thought maybe we can get an idea of what they're doing. If it's something we want to do, maybe not do the same thing they do. I don't know. What if the county decided to help provide refrigerators or something? They're already doing it. You know what I'm saying?
So this reminds me of something. So if I don't think we have used it a whole lot in the past 6 or 8 months, but whatever questions may arise, like for example, how do you even qualify? What overlaps? Who's giving out what? Questions like this. I heard about a program can anybody identify it, please submit it over to our departments. There is a procedure, just write out your question, it will go through the chairman, then through legal, and then we will give it to the departments. You will usually get an answer within probably a week. And I think it may be helpful then to share it that way, have everything in writing, it's something that you can refer to later. To your question, I'm thinking if you can contact the person who said that, get as much information as you can, or at least get us the contact info so we can call and start digging.
Absolutely.
And see if it applies to, somebody else.
Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Larson.
I want to thank you for calling this emergency meeting, formal legal meeting of the Chautauqua County Legislature. My vague memory would be that it's your call as to whether you call such a meeting, and I thank you for doing that. There's great irony, though, that hit me a minute ago. We are here as elected representatives at a formal emergency meeting of the Chautauqua County Legislature to discuss a problem that is not of our making. Under my understanding of the way the U.S. Constitution used to be viewed, the House of Representatives initiates all spending bills in our government, and the House of Representatives has been in recess or vacation for 5 or 6 weeks or so. So we came here as a legislature to meet about something that's not our responsibility. And the legislature that has this responsibility for both food stamps and heating assistance has not met for like a month and a half. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Legislator Pavlik.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just some thoughts that I've had as I've been listening to everybody and hearing, and even before I came. It certainly is an important topic, and that's why we've had this emergency meeting, and that's why we're all here caring for our communities. Hopefully this shutdown doesn't last, and that's the hope. Hopefully the government opens next week, right, and then our solution is handled. But, what if it doesn't? What if it's a month? What if it's 2 months? 3, 4 months? I mean, I wouldn't think so, but who knows? From what I'm hearing tonight, our county is in a good position. We're handling it. As to Mr. Larson stated, how long will that last, right? Can we get a few weeks out of it? Can we get a month? And I think, having the meeting is good. We've discussed it, but I think, we have some meetings coming up. We'll know a lot more in 2 weeks than we know tonight. We'll kind of see more of a direction this is heading. We're going to be getting closer to the end of the month where November's transpired. Hopefully they'll make right and it'll happen this month and people will get their funds. But, if it keeps going another month or two, I really do think that the body will have to take action, and we will take action somehow, way or another. But I think, moving in that direction is wise in sense of game planning, which I think you guys are already strategizing toward that. What if? Give us some suggestions, and if the shutdown is going to seem like it's going to be looming around for a while, we'll be able to put some of those ideas to fruition at a short notice. It might not be out of the realm to have another emergency meeting in December if we need to put those into action, because in a couple of weeks, we may not have the information in our system that we currently have is functioning, and we can let it. But falling on it for a month and a half may deplete some of those funds, and could we wait until the end of December at that point? I don't know. We'll have to just keep our finger on it, keep close attention, and I just thankful for the work that the staff has been doing already so far, and the hard work that they've done in preparation for this, because so far we're handling it, and hopefully we can continue to do that. But I expect we can't forever, and so we'll be prepared, so thank you.
Just to address that for a moment, this happened about initial news started about, what, 3 weeks ago or so? So this group has been working consistently. So as we said, maybe not, this is a crisis management team. This group has no issue with developing the plan, implementing the plan, and getting this across the finish line without a doubt. So as we said, this isn't something that we've been discussing now for a week. This has been something that's been discussed for 3 weeks, and at any time in that 3 weeks, the government could have opened, and we could have been back to where we were, right? So that's, to that point, this group has been working tirelessly. It's the last week that, Carmelo, Mr. Hernandez, and his team have been working with OTDA. NISAC brought the county leadership involved in how we start to manage. It's much, I hate to bring this word back, but 5 years ago, we've been in the same situation in March where we start hearing little upticks of things and how it affects each and every county. So we are, again, watching. When COVID hit, it was the same plan. We have strategies, we're listening, we're looking, we're at the ready. That's what this group is, and waiting to see how we pivot and move. There's no question. When that need arises, we will move and pivot. But as we said, if we appropriate everything now, we get this, and then tomorrow it opens, then what do we do? So we're ready. But to the point, this isn't been a week-long issue. This has been going on for about 3 weeks.
Understood, great. Thank you. Legislator Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, all of you for the information you've shared tonight. It's been certainly an eye-opener for me. But I believe I heard that you are checking with various food banks to see if there's a severe shortage. And if there is a severe shortage, or if it gets to that point, do we have a plan in place? And is it legally appropriate for us to make a food donation to those 30 food pantries in Chautauqua County? It's kind of a two-sided question there. At what point will we look at the potential of helping the 30 food pantries in Chautauqua County should it get to the severe shortage level?
So I talk with Diane's staff about every day because they communicate, we make referrals on a regular basis when somebody comes in for food assistance.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we have to know where to refer people, where there's resources, and when that's depleted, we hear about that. So up till now, we know that there are shortages that happen routinely with food need. But as far as an emergency that like you're describing, we haven't heard that yet. If we did hear that, I think we would want to be prepared in that event, and I would leave that to Anna to talk about the legal aspects of that piece.
Yes, either a monetary donation or food.
Okay. My church has a food pantry, and that's why
It's a legitimate question, and some of the counties have done this. Now, there's also a certain perspective to how do we make the most out of that money? Do we donate the money and then let the food pantry, utilize it properly and buy maybe more than we would be able for the same amount of money, or do we purchase food and then donate? That is something I think that the food pantry's input is crucial, and that's something we can absolutely help with, but we're just not there yet.
Got you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you.
The state, that's what they're discussing, so from NISAC, they can't tell anybody what to do. Recommendation is the food pantry knows to get $100 out of a single dollar. So that's really the method that we would look at is how do they stretch that money? They're the experts at that, so
Right.
making sure that those funds are available.
Right.
And in terms of the crisis, this is why we're meeting with the OCDA commissioner every day, more than I would like, to be quite honest. But the timelines that they're giving and it's changing today was a little bit positive, tomorrow it may not be, or it may be more positive.
Right.
But it gives us a good idea, it gives me a good idea where I have to get on the horn with the team or call PJ and say, okay, we gotta make a move now, this is what it's looking like, the forecast is here. So, I'll be honest, I'm not surprised that we're here now, because we've been talking about this since August with OTDA, and we've been waiting, and we're here now. So we've been pretty prepared for it, because we knew this was a possibility, but now I'm thinking more along the lines, like Mr. Pavlak said, what happens if we're here in January? So this is why we pushed for the meeting, and they granted it, so we're meeting every day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Carl.
Are there any subsidies going to any food banks at this moment from the county? Okay. Okay, I know we all want to hope for the best, but we do need to keep our thinking caps on here and prepare for the worst going forward. But ultimately, I've appreciated all the information that we received tonight. I thank you, Mr. Chairman, for calling this meeting. You know, I think it was very beneficial for all of us here. I think we shared a lot of ideas and information, and I appreciate all of the providers of the information here. I just think that I'm looking forward to the next update, and hopefully we won't have to have it because things will get straightened out on the federal level, but I appreciate everything you guys did tonight. Thank you.
Anything else? Legislator Nebel.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a couple more questions. And this would, I guess, would be for the legal department. Can a government entity donate directly to a 503C organization? And the reason I ask this is because it's possible that some of the food pantries might be 503Cs.
Yes, and that's on the heels of what Legislator Larson also said, you know, can we contract with them? Can we donate? Can we actually have a already existing relationship so we don't have to have these meetings when need arises? We are looking into that. We are, I'll be quite honest with you, trying to figure out ways of donating to as many entities in the county who could help. There are certain limitations on some of them. I will put it in writing for you, and I will get it back to you, just so that you see.
As far as the 503Cs?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Including food pantries, including others, you know, food pantry is just one way. There's other nonprofits. There's other people who want to help, right?
Understood.
So our job is to kind of figure out how to get the money to them, but this is something, honestly, that we're kind of looking at input from you guys as well. What are we allocating from, you know, which pile of money, and who do you think the money should go to? It doesn't have to be specific, but kind of roughly, so we can start making some layouts for future plans. Okay?
Well, specifically, I'd kind of like to know if we can donate to 503Cs.
I know.
Okay.
And I told you I will send you the research on that part, okay? Because I don't want to say yes or no right now. And I'm telling you, we're having issues. Whenever we look into certain entities that we want to give money to, there's issues with that.
Okay.
And again, we're in a public session, so legal advice is very general tonight.
Okay. I look forward to your report.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, a couple other points that we haven't hit on. Welfare benefits, welfare checks, have they been affected by the government shutdown? Okay, Camilla, could you address that, or John, or somebody? So, in other words, SNAP recipients who are on welfare are receiving cash benefits?
Yes, the only thing that's been frozen is SNAP, and HEAP is just because the government shut down and there's no money. So those are the only two that are 100% out of commission right now.
Okay, so there was a reference earlier to children possibly starving. What about the WIC program? Has that been affected? Women, infant, and children?
No, WIC has not been affected.
Okay, so those recipients are still receiving funds. Okay. And then I guess the last point that I'd like to make is that, yes, there is a government shutdown, but I'd like to point out to my colleague from District 12 that the House has passed a continuing resolution, a CR, which needs 60 votes in the Senate. That hasn't happened yet. 5 more Democrats need to vote in favor of the clean CR. When they do, that will end the government shutdown. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other legislators have any questions or comments for our distinguished team up here?
I'll answer Terry back on my own about that last point he's making.
Okay. Okay, then that brings us on our agenda to announcements. Are there any announcements? Oh, don't go away. There might be questions from the public. I think I know of one. Are there any announcements from the legislators? Hearing none, that's not surprising considering we're in an emergency meeting. That brings us to the second privilege of the floor. Members of the public may comment on any subject. A member of the legislature may speak on any subject. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes, and comments representing a group shall be limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone wishing to address the second privilege of the floor? Please step to the microphone and introduce yourself.
Hello again, I'm Connie Griffith, and I gave the presentation earlier on the option to look at Feedmore as the agency of contract with the state. This morning, Fred Basket in Fredonia had our first food pantry of the month. And within the first hour of first hour of the pantry today, we gave away 270 meals to SNAP recipients. At $6 per meal, which $5 to $6 a meal, I used $5. That's the average cost of a home-cooked meal in Chautauqua County. We gave away $3,550 worth of food. That is food that we have no way of replenishing other than from the public donating to us or receiving through grants from Feedmore. Now, just keep this cycle in mind. When we receive those grants, many of them are from USDA surplus foods. If you recall back in the spring, the federal government cut most of the subsidies to farmers. Where do you think that food comes from? That's going to be diminished over time. We're going to have difficulty even getting food from those grant agencies that we now receive. And there's no county monies coming to the food pantries. So we're all volunteers. We source our food from the public. We also source our food from Feedmore. That cycle is right now very tenuous. For us in our food pantry, we have to get deliveries every week in order to keep up with that demand. I developed a voucher so that we know who we're getting food to and how much. That is something I would like the county to at least ask your food pantries to do. We're a certified food pantry, so we will do that to keep track of that. But that's something that I think really that accountability needs to be in there. That's where my MBA is coming into play. So if you want some like firsthand, we're right on the front lines. We'll be able to give you information about what we're doing so that you can consider that as you develop your plan to how better to handle the county residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Thank you for this opportunity to address this body. My name is Cynthia Carlson. I have a question for the committee here. I hear a lot about, you're ready, you're waiting for people to, if there's a problem, but you only saw 4 north and south. You know who you service. Is there any thought to reach out to those people? What I'm hearing from people who have food stamps, they're just eating less. Is there some thought to reach out to them to say, if you're in trouble, here's some resources, reach out to us? I'm just wondering whether, that proactive stance has been considered. And thank you.
Thank you.
That's been the message from NISAC from the very beginning, is to reach out. Many of these, as you said, cases, they have case workers, so that contact is being made. And as we said, John, Mr. Anderson has said, Mr. Hernandez, if there is a need, please reach out to social services. This is their job. They are here. They are ready. They have teams that can get moving on this in a matter of minutes. So yes, that's proactively, that's their mission. They do that quite often.
And also to answer your question as well, so the mental hygiene staff, the therapists, and the care coordinators, we tell them if you have any clients that you may know of that are receiving SNAP, please inquire and please share the resources and please send the other way or we can help them and provide services.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Marsha Wilson Johnson from Fredonia, and I would like to say this is clearly a manufactured crisis because obviously they are funding other programs, they're funding cash benefits. This is totally political, and I think that should be acknowledged here, but I'd like to thank you all for your comments. And I have a question. I feel privileged to be able to straighten out a controversy that has been all over this country. If someone is undocumented, also known as an illegal immigrant, can they get cash payments? Can they get Medicare? Can they get SNAP, HEAP, or any of these other programs?
No, they cannot. They have to be in a qualified status.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the second privilege of the floor? Anyone else for the second privilege? Seeing no one? Oh, there was someone. Oh. A little quicker, please. No,
I apologize.
Thank you,
Getting done
thank
to
you.
you, public. Mr. Wendell was nice enough to not kick me out of my seat over there. My name's Adam. I'm from Westfield, New York. I've donated my time and effort at food pantries before, and that's why I wanted to attend this meeting. I am also a recovering banker, so I might be able to help on a couple of fronts there as well. I'm heartened to see that we're currently not lacking in actual food supplies, that we have dedicated local government officials that are working on this problem, and that we have volunteers. I didn't hear that you need volunteers, but I'm going to give you my card afterwards. I'm glad to see that we're taking some proactive measures, and I have some ideas on that that may be helpful. We do find ourselves in an environment where we have longer and more frequent government shutdowns, and these shutdowns are only resolved by continuing resolutions that are basically saying we're not going to create a budget, we're just going to borrow more money. It's borrowed money that goes to the USDA, that goes to the state, that goes to these cards. We need to avoid the shell game. I understand that NISEC is providing some information, but based on my research, I think they may be playing a bit of a shell game and not really acknowledging which part of the, which New York agency is actually putting money on those cards. It's my understanding that basically the county pays for some of the administrative. They basically do the loan underwriting, the credit card underwriting of this system, and they're working with the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. But that is not the department that actually controls the mechanisms of power here. The mechanisms are controlled by the Department of Health, and I understand there might be some subsidiaries, and I'm not an expert on these things. But ultimately, they send a batch, they send a file that says, believe that these benefits are going to be paid. These EBT cards are a net 30 account, and that Department of Health fluctuates their available credit. And that file can be sent, but the USDA sent out a memo saying, do not send that memo. Do not believe that we, the USDA, are going to ultimately debit that account to balance that credit. Hopefully I don't lose anybody with the accounting. But basically, this is just a matter of belief. We just need to say that we will pay for these benefits. These are hand-to-mouth benefits. People are not getting rich off of SNAP. It is supporting our local food systems. And I heard, yes, we do have 1 in 5 people on this, but we're also an agricultural county. So we can, through programs like Double Up Food Bucks, turn that lemon into lemonade. I don't want to sit here and pontificate too much, but I'm heartened by the work that's being done, and I hope to participate and do something to help. That's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, anyone else for the second privilege of the floor?
Move we adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn by Legislator Larson,
We have a question here.
and we have a question here.
Last question. I promise.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you. Please, Mr. Legislator Nebo.
Okay. This is, I guess, for Carmelo or John. On the SNAP application, is there even a box to check for U.S. citizen?
Yes.
There is?
Yes.
Okay. I should have known that question before I asked you.
Okay, as the county attorney and the very legal immigrants to this country, I can tell you that illegal immigrants are generally speaking not eligible for any benefits except if they're in a protected group due to their age, due to their asylum status, due to whatever determination the federal government says you are protected and you can get it. They're the minority. So as a general rule, no. If we have had situations where people would come in and they would apply. We A, deny them, and B, that's a crime to do that.
Okay.
And we're very much aware of that.
Okay,
So.
thank you.
Move we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Now we have a motion to adjourn by Legislator Larson, a second by Legislator Carl. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And we're adjourned. Thank you.